This video is a little bit difficult to do effectively and efficiently, but I'll try to do my best, but forgive me if it seems a little bit sloppy at first. There's a lot of things to check for really quickly, and I think I can do them like most all at once. I don't know, we'll see how I do. But a while ago I made a video regarding prisoners and whether or not you should be reducing resistance or recruiting and seeing what the differences is, seeing if reducing resistance increases the recruitment chance or anything like that. And you can check out the video if you want the answer to that, but there are a couple questions on it regarding prison breaks. Whether or not reducing resistance affects prison breaks, also whether or not it reduces the, well, I guess increases the relationship more than if they weren't reduced resisted, and to see if somebody coming in fresh off the map has better reduced resistance based on you previously reducing resistance of people. So you can see why this is going to be a little bit sloppy and all over the place. There's a lot of things to check for, and trying to figure out the best way to do it is a little bit tricky. But I've got here Skisor of the EREM Nation, who is by default one of the friendly people. I made them hostile though, but by default they were plus 20. And I'll reduce resistance and see if the mean time between decreases. I will also, I have a second person here who I won't be interacting with at all, and we'll just use this person as sort of a, I don't know, just an at a glance check type thing, I suppose. We'll see if this person's resistance is affected at all by this prisoner. We will reduce this prisoner and release him and see if this affects this person. I also have somebody who I haven't taken prisoner yet, who I will take prisoner, and I will see what their resistance is before and after releasing people. And then I'll also spawn somebody new before and after and see, on average, what their resistance is like. It's tough to check for though, because the resistance, I think, it varies a little bit depending on exactly what the colonist is. But we'll see what I can do here. So, first things first, I suppose we just release you and see what that does to the faction relations. Now we're at minus 75 right now, and I haven't interacted with this guy at all. Prison break is now -1, as in it can't happen because he's been released. And they're down to -63. So what I'll do now, and you didn't change it all. What I'll do now is I'll load, and I'll do that a couple more times just to see, because the value could be a little bit different every time. And we'll go from there. Down to -63 again. Cave didn't change at all. We'll do it one more time just to check. And down to -63 again. And Cave hasn't been affected by this at all whatsoever. So let's go for, first off, let's just reduce resistance to the console. See if this changes it at all. We'll bring it down to, like, I don't know, 2. 2 resistance. It doesn't seem to be making a difference at all. Like, at all. Actually talk to him and see. Been completely broken. Still 45. So let's destroy his cool area. There you go, you can eat on the floor even. And let's make this completely disgusting. That should be enough to make this a really horrible prison, and also don't clean. Awful prison cell -4, yeah, it's pretty terrible. But prison break chance, still on average 45 days. So we will release Skisor. And when he exits map healthy, we will take our wandering friend up there, still -63. I will take you. Club. Oh my god, you clubbed her head off. Jesus, well that's not intended. Goddamn, Tony. Well, let's just spawn in another one then. So a fresh dude. There we go. Maybe I just damaged it down next time. Apparently she's a bit rough. Fucking hell. We'll see what his chance is here. -1 because he's injured. 45 again. It seems to really be a constant thing. 23 resistance though, which is roughly what Cave has. Let's... What were you? 23. So let's destroy ya. Get a new one. 26 resistance with the mean time between of 45. So I think what I'll do now is we'll just release this guy, making sure he is absolutely healthy. Let's release both of you. You're still pretty happy down here. Release. Let you both get out of the map. Maker brings us down to 63 down to minus 51, so 12 again. And 12 again. So whether they have high resistance or not... Well, we didn't test with no resistance, so let's see with no resistance. Let's release them. The resistance is 0. Minus 12 again. So it doesn't seem to matter if they have resistance or not. Releasing them doesn't seem to affect that. It's been regularly a minus 12 with no variance. I suppose I'll do it a few more times and check. 23 resistance, 20 resistance. Yeah, it seems to be around the same value. But let's reduce it down to 0 and release. And same for you. There. Yeah. And still 45 days, yeah. Release. Release. Minus 12. And minus 12. Doesn't seem to make a difference at all. Still 45. 4 resistance. Still 45. Doesn't seem to really matter. And while we're at it, let's destroy all of his cool stuff. And give him a real shit show of a room. Let's make this completely filthy and disgusting. There we go. So his prison is no longer awesome. And still 45 days. Don't clean that, Tony. Come on. What are you doing? He lives in filth and squalor. He's our experiment. I'll let it wait a little bit, and we'll try again tomorrow and see if maybe it just takes time to update. But it seems that the prison, its state, doesn't affect resistance at all. Or rather, it doesn't affect the down to 2 now, down from 4. Awful Prison doesn't seem to affect prison break chance. Resistance doesn't seem to affect prison break chance. Releasing prisoners doesn't seem to affect resistance or prison break chance. Let's go for... not out of gold, though. Just throw down a few out of wood. Spawn a couple. This was Town Councilman. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And give you a partner. Damage them all to down. And we will capture, capture, capture. Sev here had a bionic stomach. I accidentally removed that. So everybody's healthy now. And still minus 1. But for everybody else, it's still that magical 45 number, so I don't think that affects it at all. 0 resistance, and it's still 45. Talking to Cave. Resistance is broken completely by for Cave, and yeah, we're back up to 45 days on average. Resistance does not seem to matter for that at all. The prison state doesn't seem to matter. The resistance doesn't matter. Weapons everywhere doesn't matter. The prison quality doesn't matter. A lot of it doesn't matter. The prison break is still set to just kind of happen whenever. Okay, so let's load it up and let's reset this to a fresh, clean slate here. Oh, there you go. There's a prison break. So I'm currently filling up the prison right now. A lot of people still aren't healthy, but I'm sort of waiting for her to get everybody in before I do all that. But meantime between is not changing at all. Difficulty is not changing. Resistance isn't changing. This stuff doesn't seem to update on the fly at all whatsoever, no matter what the conditions are for people. Like this is like pretty much as bad as the cell could get. I can make it filthy too. Wherever that is, there we are. Just completely disgusting. Everything is terrible. It's not changing at all for anybody. It's -1 for these guys because they're injured. But for everybody else, totally fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and heal up people. Well, I'll start doing that now, I suppose. There's a lot of people, they're healthy, their conditions are shit, and they have guns. They should prison break really quickly, if logic means anything in RimWorld. I'm pretty sure all the game looks at for prison breaks is how many prisoners you have and how healthy they are. So the guns and filth and all that may not matter. So what I think I'll have to do is I guess I'll just sit and wait and we'll see how long it takes for them to break. Because it should happen pretty quickly. There it is. That only took a couple days. Yeah, and it says prisoners are more likely to attempt breakout when there are numerous and healthy. So as far as I can tell, the meantime between here, it doesn't update. It doesn't work. There's nothing to go off of. The actual prison break chance, I'm pretty sure is completely hidden. I don't think, even if I were to do an advanced inspect element type thing, I don't think it tells you there. I don't know what the chance is. I'm not sure how to find that out. But as far as resistance goes, I don't think resistance has a damned thing to do with any of that. Like, at all. I can damage to down. Not all of them broke. Interestingly. Come on, get back down there. Get out of here. I'll set the resistance to 0. And we'll wait it out and we'll see what that does. See how long it takes. So we have all the prisoners back. They're all healthy and they're all set to resistance 0. The meantime between is still 45 across the board, except the ones who were sleeping. Which, oop. Tater 87. What? 47. 87. It's changed for some people, but I'm not sure why. Huh. 87. 86. It does change. How the hell can you change it, though? It just seems random. I added plasteel doors, but they're still awful prison cells. Ugly environment, awful prison cell, confined interior, like their mood is still terrible. Yeah. That's all still. Come on, Con. Knock it off. Jeez. -1, remove the heat ifs on him. Just remove the malnutrition. You don't need to eat, that's fine. Lilith's gone berserk. Yeah, all their moods fucking terrible. But Lilith was 47. Now it's -1. Maybe like if you get them back after a break attempt, maybe they just 547. I'm not sure. The number does change though. It's weird. Resistance is 0 though. I'll leave it at this point for a bit. And we'll see what their chance is to break. Tony, do you have godlike skill? Yeah, you do. Let's just spawn. Some glitter rolled medicine around. Just to make that a bit easier. Oh, none of them get glitter roll by default, huh? Oh, that's a ball lick. Never mind. I'll treat the he diffs, I guess, manually. So that way they get healthy, but we'll wait it out and see how long it takes with them to have 0 resistance until they break, and then we'll see what the mean time between is then at that point. There it is. There's the prison break. So, Gecko, Ray, Kristen. Yeah. So damage to down. Who else do we got here? Go ahead, who's next? Make my day. That's what I thought. Okay, so, this guy first. Sour or something. Heal you up. 89. Yeah, okay. So, I think my theory may have been right. -1, but wait for you to get up. 89, yeah. So it's basically doubled, because 45 times 2 is 90. So that would make sense that it just reapplies the 45. But it doesn't update past 45. Because I guess that's just what the number's set, and the average wouldn't change. It's just that's the average. That's how that works. They're set to break between a certain time period. On average, that's 45. That number, though, that it gives them for when they break, do the prison break rather, it hides that very, very well, and I don't know where to find that. But the average is always going to be 45, though. Regardless of resistance, regardless of faction relation, regardless of if you've let anybody out before, whether they're in a good mood or a good resistance or a bad resistance. Yeah. But prison breaks, I think we can just kind of go with what it says on the tin in that the resistance doesn't matter. It doesn't affect it at all. They both broke within a few days. This wasn't very, you can check the date, 8th of Yugas, it's not very far along. I think maybe like this is day 4 perhaps, and they've done a prison break again. Resistance doesn't matter. Jail condition, that seems to matter. I mean, Chelsea has yet to actually go on a jailbreak. They're pretty okay with it. Yeah, we've had 2 jailbreaks and they never got involved. They're all in separate cells, so I think we can rule out the whole separate cell versus one giant prison room type thing. Because if prison cells were any better at all, I think we would have noticed. I don't know, kind of a strange take. I'm not really happy with this video, honestly. It's not super definitive, but I don't know where to find out what their exact prison break chance is, because the mean time between, it's not very accurate. That is not very accurate. Yeah, ma'am broke the first time, not a second time. All these fucking breaks. Prison break. Is anybody? Ray, Priscilla, Tater? Ray's done it a couple times. Unless we have 2 Rays. Ray? Ah, there's Ray. Capture Ray. What's his chance? Damn it, Ray. Eat. Get out of bed and eat. 91. So yeah, it gets higher when they do a prison break. They're less likely to do another prison break after the first prison break. So if you can round them all up and get them all back in, you're good for a little while. But I mean, Ray was part of the first prison break, and he still broke a second time. So that mean time between, that's a rough average. I don't know. General takeaway is I think it's still just it's really basic. It's really simple. If you don't want the colonist, reduce resistance down to 0 and then just release them. Just get your social out of the social ranked up that way. Or if you actually do want them, go ahead and recruit them. You'll automatically reduce resistance. You'll go for the recruit when you finally can. It's not any faster doing it that way. It saves you changing this over though. But otherwise, reducing resistance, it doesn't seem to affect prison break. It doesn't affect the relations with other people. It doesn't affect the other prisoners. It literally is just do that if you need to get your social up and you don't really care about the person. Because releasing somebody who's got a high resistance versus low resistance doesn't affect the faction relation either. So yeah, it's not super satisfying. It's still strange to me the mean time between, but that does seem to be the case. Strange video, very unorganized, much more organized than my regular ones, and I apologize for that. I'll do better. But this was sort of just a lot of people were requesting this, and I didn't really know how to do it, so I thought I'd give it a go. Maybe this helps shine some light on something.